Well, hi everyone. We are so happy for having you here in our Love and Nudes challenge. In the past couple of weeks, we've been putting a lot of effort into achieving the goals that we set and brainstormed during the phase one. In this presentation, we will dive deeper into all the details of the process and how did it go. But first, let us introduce ourselves and one of our strengths. I'm Kauthar and I have a good work ethic.
And I'm good at collaborating.
Hi, my name is Irene and I take initiative.
Hi, I'm Alamide and I'm good at catching people up to date.
As a team, we were asked to make the Love and Nudes website more user-friendly, create a homepage product layout, and to make the website more personalized to the customer.
We only completed one task, but it was definitely still quite time-consuming. Our job was to fix the problem of having the variants act like their own product with Shopify. Currently, customers can view all the variants on the homepage as individual products, while being connected to the Shopify inventory as one product on the backend. This is especially important to our client, Chantel, as she only has one style of bra and one style of panties. Having variants shown as individual products gives her catalog a variety while allowing her to accurately keep inventory counts on the backend since there is no longer a need for multiple products in the admin. The customer products page is now optimized to show a drop-down of variant colors and sizes as well.
Our process is easy. It consists of 3 steps. We firstly had to understand our problem, which consists of variant acting like their own products. And then we needed to understand how does the platform work to finally implement our solution. Let's dive deeper into that.
So firstly, we had to understand the problem. What needed to be done? Well, the problem was that we needed our variants to act like their own products too. And then the next part was what part of the website will we be using? Will we be using the admin part of Shopify or the themes? We had to decipher between which one we will be using and also knowing if we'll be using backend or front-end coding. For this, we would have to be modifying already preset code, so that would be backend coding. Then we also had to go online to see if others have encountered this problem before, so we can implement it into our solution, which we'll be talking about later.
Understanding the platform. To understand the problem, we first had to understand how the platform works, and our platform was Shopify. So to understand the platform, we played around with the default theme. We got used to the Shopify interface on both admin and code side, and we had to understand the code for product pages.
Implementing our solution. As a team, we went through a tedious trial and error stage where we tested different lines and commands of code to see what their outcomes would be. Since most of us aren't experts in coding, we needed to do some individual research to answer our questions. We also had our coding coach, Gary, help us out tremendously with solving obstacles we were faced with. Some unforeseen challenges. The main challenge we faced was the unfamiliarity with the Shopify platform and coding on the Shopify theme. We had multiple questions about the theme setup, and we did diligent research to find clues and test code to achieve the final solution. Although we didn't have the knowledge on how to tackle the problem, we collaborated to discover a solution. We had to gain an understanding of how products and variants are set up in the store admin and on the backend of the theme code. Going over the code and looking at similar examples of this problem in Shopify community forums and online was a huge help. We split up our duties and worked through the problem with both collaboratively and individually to maximize our efforts.
So all of this may sound confusing right now, what we're saying. So why don't we go in depth into more visual aspects? We'll be showing the before and afters, and we'll be explaining what technically variants are and products.
So our problem was to show all of the variants while also allowing them to act as their own product too. Now, what is a variant? Well, a variant is basically the same product, but just in different colors and sizes. Like so, these are actually, if you see by the title of their name, they are actually just a bunch of variants here. There's only two types. There's only one type of bra and one type of panty. If we go into these variants, the problem that we have here is if the client were to choose a different color, they would have to go out of the shop, this area, and go choose the color they would like. The one that we have fixed over here allows us to not only see all of the variants, but also when we click on them, they act as their own product where you can choose the size and also the color.
What we learned. We've learned a lot over these past 3 months. We've learned to work together and collaborate as a team. We've learned the ins and outs of Shopify. We've learned a lot about the admin and coding side of Shopify. We've learned to consolidate products, which was to make customers be able to change the variants without having to return to the shop page and look for the color they want. We've learned to develop and share ideas with each other. And lastly, we've become better versions of ourselves.
We now come to the final part of the presentation. We would love to recommend 2 things. Firstly is to hire an expert for the second part of the challenge. Why is that? It's to build an app or a third-party app in Shopify that aims to make the website more personalized to the customer. For example, this app will enable, whenever a customer buys a product, this app will record what type, color, and size of the product so that next time they want to buy another product, they find automatically and easily choices that are suitable for what they want. Unfortunately, we couldn't achieve this step just due to the time limit. Our second recommendation is to improve the site visibility with search engine optimization, which is abbreviated to SEO. What is that? Well, it's the process of making the site search easily by using more keywords to find it easily on Google, because we noticed that it's really hard to find the website once we go on Google and type in. Also, we highly recommend actually to read the Shopify's, to read more about the Shopify's SEO. Yeah, like to have more informations through the Shopify website. There are some sources to read on Shopify about this. Thank you so much for your attention, and now we let any time for any questions, comments, and guys, you can always find us on Slack or through email. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know technical difficulties could happen to anyone at any time. This is the times we live in. So you guys did amazing of coming back. This is great. Now let's see if we can hear anything from our coaches, judges. Any feedback would be great. And whoever wants to start first can go.
Keep it running. So yeah, we see this merchandising issue a lot for Shopify merchants, depending on like where their business vertical is. They often run into a variant limit and need to find creative ways to display their products. There's almost the opposite effect where there's trying to beef up the collection page and make it look like there's more products that are offered there. There's a lot of different ways you can tackle this. Were you creating each product as its own variant and exposing the variants on the collection page, or were you linking all of the products individually through meta fields on the actual product page so that they were able to navigate between them? How are you actually tackling the steps there?
Basically the problem was like we wanted all the variants to be shown like their own products. And also when you click on each variant for it to act like a product. So you can still choose like the different variants, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you left them as like it's still one main product. You have individual variants for each one. You're exposing variants. Perfect. Yeah. Great.
Maybe I'll go next. I really appreciated how you recognized each other's strengths at the beginning of the intro. That's something I haven't seen in a presentation forever, I think. Leveraging those strengths and working together is something I want my team at work to do more. And it's something that is useful in supporting each other, but also just for learning from each other, because you're going to be more vulnerable. You're going to build trust within your team when you let each other know your strengths and maybe your weaknesses too, and just communicate that at the beginning. I'm pretty blown away by how much context you were gained about, like you were able to gain from the Shopify admin and working with inventory or merchandising, with merchandising, just because it's something that took me months to onboard to when I started at Shopify. It's a beast and it's not an easy feat. So kudos to you. While you were working in the coding section, I suppose, you had mentioned you went on Shopify forums to gather help and maybe also your mentors. What did you find was useful to you when you were trying to learn something? Like, how did you ask for help? What type of feedback that your coaches gave you maybe helped you learn more? Did they push you in a direction to look at, Google maybe for some questions and answers, or the Shopify forum? Basically, how did you get the knowledge that you didn't already have when it came to something technical?
Well, they wanted to provide us with ample help, but they also wanted us to learn individually and grow so that when we're off on our own, we know how to solve our own issues. So they didn't want to be there. They didn't want to support and give exact directions as to how to solve our problems. But so to solve that issue, we would just ask them how they would fix this issue, what they would do in the circumstances. Would they go on Google, or would they talk to people who have had multiple different experiences with issues like this?
Wow, that's awesome. I wish someone had taught me that when I was at the end of high school, because it took me years to learn how to learn, basically. So great work, team.
Yeah, awesome job with the presentations and rolling with the punches. I feel like if there's a presentation I have and nothing goes wrong, like did I even present at the end of the day, So awesome job with that, folks. I just want to know, how did you decide how to delegate tasks? Because I know project management is a skill in itself. Yeah, I'm just really curious, because your early slide with highlighting your strengths, like to Kelly's point, that was really refreshing to see. Because I think it's so quick for us to kind of focus on what we're not good at, but we need to highlight our skills. So yeah, I just want to know how you decided, like, the workflow for that, for delegating tasks.
I think it's all about communication. Like, we brainstormed firstly, what are the steps and what are the slides in our presentation. And then we asked, okay, guys, who is comfortable to do this, that, who, it's all about communication, I guess, and just highlighting the strengths. So yeah, we ask each other a lot of questions. We consider each other's opinions. So that helps.
Perfect. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, great job again.
Yeah, I mean, I also really love that you guys were so quick to point out each other's strengths. Again, this is something that, just as people in general, we're usually so quick to dwell on things that we're maybe not so good at. So that was incredibly refreshing, and it really did come through in the presentation and in the work that you guys have put in. So really good job. And yeah, rolling with the punches, technical difficulties happen to me on a daily basis, and you guys handled it with far more grace than I have in the past. So good job with that. Yeah, honestly, this was really good. And I really love how you guys kind of actually added in, like, one of the things to resolve was actually getting an understanding of the Shopify platform in general. this is always something that I'm usually really good to stress with people. It's like, just take the time to just play with it, just sit down, like really get to know it. So it's good that you did that. And also leveraging, I like how you point out that you use the Shopify community forums a lot. This is somewhere that I do most of my learning, if I'm being honest, especially before I actually started with Shopify. I was usually quick to just, if I need to learn something, I'm going to Google it. But also just the fact that you guys were in trying to kind of figure out, like, if you weren't quite so sure how to proceed next, instead of straight up asking like, hey, how do I do this? You actually took your coach's feedback and how they would do it into consideration to then kind of integrate it in your own way. So really appreciated that, like the communication skills and everything, just absolutely excellent. So again, amazing job, guys. Thank you for just detailing like the entire thought process and everything. It was very clear to follow along with. So yeah, thank you. Good job again.
Thank you so much, Chantal. Any last words?
Great job. So proud of you, team. Thank you for helping me. I feel really blessed and honored that you, so young, are figuring out things that I could never do on my own. So I'm forever, like, I'm really, really grateful for that. One feedback that I have is like when you started at the beginning, you talked about the variance. It would be good if you at that point said what the variants mean, and like, yeah, because that was a little bit confusing for me. You did mention it closer to the end of your presentation, but that would be good for you to do at the beginning, just for people who might not know, what it is, because I get confused with the variance. What does that mean again? So that's it. But great work. And you got through the technical difficulties. So
Yes.
Yay.
Yes, thank you.
I can't wait to implement all of this. And the word of the day seems to be SEO. And I keep hearing about SEO, and so I know that's something I need to look into as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much.